So let's begin. Take a big breath and relax, and take a minute to steady your mind by focusing on the sensations of breathing in your belly or chest or around your upper lip, staying present with each individual breath for the next minute. Sitting here, being a body breathing, your mind growing increasingly quiet. In that growing quiet, become increasingly aware of the pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral feeling tones of your experience. Sense a growing impartiality toward whatever arises, an evenness, a non-reactivity, a relaxed and undisturbed presence. Accept and be at peace with whatever is arising. Let your mind become increasingly steady, quiet, and collected. Be aware of sounds and hear without being caught by what's heard. In sounds, there are only sounds. Be aware of sensations and sense without being caught by what's sensed. In sensations, there are only sensations. Be aware of thoughts and allow thoughts to arise without being caught by them. In the thought itself is only thought. Be aware of how all the contents of mind are the same in that they all arise, persist for a few moments, and then change and pass away, like eddies in the stream. Be aware of how feeling tones also arise and come and go, pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. And therefore, how all the contents of mind, including the feeling tones, are constantly changing and vanishing, and thus not a dependable basis for true happiness. Be aware of a growing balance and spaciousness with regard to all the contents of awareness. Be aware of less tilting toward pleasure, less pulling back from pain. Feel the peace and freedom in a growing equanimity. Allowing everything that's passing through awareness to come and go without identifying with it. Not claiming it as me, myself, or mine. It's simply there, like clouds in the sky. Not claiming or identifying with anything passing through awareness. Abiding without preferences, breath after breath. Easing into a deepening sense of equanimity. perhaps intuiting a sublime freedom, contentment, and peace. Sinking into this equanimity and feeling that it is sinking into you, weaving its way into your mind and body and heart. Equanimity as a fundamental balance and spaciousness that will be with you increasingly as you go about your days. Closing this practice with some words of wisdom from an Asian meditation teacher, U Pandita, who said, "In the deepest forms of insight, we see that things change so quickly that we can't hold on to anything, and eventually the mind lets go of clinging. Letting go brings equanimity. The greater the letting go, the deeper the equanimity. In practice, we work to expand the range of life experiences in which we are free." In closing, I'd like to say that I hope this program has been helpful to you, and that with growing practice, you will use it to, just through the power of the mind alone, gradually stress-proof your own brain. In closing, I'd like to offer a variation on the well-known Serenity Prayer from Reinhold Niebuhr. It seems a very apt way to reflect on the movement from the stressful activation of these three motivational systems, approaching, avoiding, and affiliating, and deepening increasingly in well-being-centered forms of activation. So here is my adaptation of the Serenity Prayer. May I find the serenity to accept the things that cannot be changed, the courage to change the things which should be changed, and the wisdom to distinguish the one from the other. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace. Taking this imperfect world as it is, not as I would have it. Trusting in my refuges. May I be reasonably happy in this life, and supremely happy forever someday.